Have you ever had one of those nights, you know what I'm talking about? You go out, you're looking pretty good, you're all dressed up, you go out to the nightclub, you find out one girl, she's totally into you. Things go well, you know, you have a couple of drinks, you say, hey, let's go back to my place. So she comes back with you. Things are getting hot, taking off her clothes, and then all of a sudden, black, nothing. That's what I'm going to talk about today, all right? I know this is kind of a weird topic, and I'm going to tell you 4 things you can do about it. So 4 reasons why, and 4 things you can do about it. I'm going to tell you the things you can do about it to solve those problems at the end. So make sure you stay to the end so you don't just hear the problems, because that would suck. That might make things actually worse for you. Guys, if you're just joining me for the first time, I'm John from Bulldog Mindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want, in this video, how to get the erections you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to the Bulldog mindset. Make sure, if you want that in your life, if you want to transform your life, click the subscribe button. Join us on this quest, guys. It's going to be quite an adventure. And click the like button because, you know, all the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that. Make sure you do it. Just do it. It'll feel good. Trust me, just click it. Just right there. All right, so I'm going to give you 4 reasons why you might be suffering from ED, erectile dysfunction, and what you can do about it at the end. But first, let's talk about the 4 major reasons. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. I am just a guy on the internet who wears shirts that are too tight for him because he can't afford any other shirts. So that's it. All right. So here we go. So the first one, and this is probably the most common, is psychological, especially if you're a young guy, all right? And it's basically this. It's like trying to pee when someone's watching, all right? It's hard to do. It's a psychological problem. You get nervous, all right? Basically, biologically, we have adapted a flight or fight response, and so it makes sense from an evolutionary perspective of one of 2 things that happen when you're in a sexual encounter and you're under stress. 1 is that you quickly shoot the load, and 2 is that you quickly lose the erection so that you can run away, right? Like, if you didn't have those things, I mean, basically, like, Tyrannosaurus Rex would be coming to eat you. Like, so, yeah, that's the thing, right? Assuming that dinosaurs and humans exist at the same time, which of course they did. Of course they did. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Anyway, you can get it. That's why it happens a lot of times, is because if you're under stress, you get performance anxiety. You've heard about this before. It's definitely one of the most common reasons, especially in young guys, that you suffer from this, and especially if you've been thinking about it, right, then it's more likely to happen. It's like trying to not think of pink elephants when I tell you not to think of pink elephants. It's going to happen. All right, so that's number 1. All right, number 2 is low testosterone. Okay, this is a huge cause. One of the things that you can do to figure out if that might be the case is you can check to see if you have the morning wood. If you're not getting morning wood, you probably have low testosterone or probably have a problem with that. Again, this is not my medical opinion. This is just my guessing opinion of a random guy on the internet. Wink, wink, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that's a good indicator for the most part, right? Is just check and see. If you don't have morning wood, you haven't had that for a while, well, there's probably something going wrong there, and it's probably, you know, testosterone thing. I will talk about some of the solutions at the end, but it's definitely one you should check out. If you have low motivation and low libido, you know, those are pretty good indicators of having low testosterone, and it's easy to get tested. You can easily get it checked, and you can see what your testosterone levels are. I had actually a company that was doing the tests that I actually tested out, and they took so long to get back to me with the results that I'm not even going to recommend them. I was going to do an affiliate deal with them, but I'm not going to, so I'm not going to name any names. But you can go to your doctor, and I will probably have someone that I can send you to at some point when I find a good lab that does it for a reasonable price and actually get back to you with the results. So that's all I'll say about that. All right, the next one is antidepressants medication, right? So SSRIs, selective serotonin inhibitor, whatever. Anyway, if you're on depression medication, you probably are going to suffer. A lot of people may suffer from it's not the best thing, and it's a very highly reported symptom or side effect of it. So got to balance that out. If you're doing that, well, you know, that's a possible problem. And then finally, the last one here is other stuff like Minoxidil and stuff that doesn't claim to affect it, but possibly does, right? I've talked to enough guys that are using Minoxidil on their hair or on their face to try and grow beards, and from my experience, heard that there's a lot of problems here, even though, you know, it supposedly doesn't cause it. So let's talk about how to solve this problem. So the first one, how can you solve the psychological problem? So this one's tough. All right, if you have a psychological problem, what you can do is you can basically try and take the pressure off and try to make it like low pressure situations. Like, don't think about this as much as possible. Don't try and not think about it either. Just try and relax. Just try and focus on other things, on your breathing. Let things come naturally. Don't hyperventilate. Don't overthink this situation. It's the same thing when you go into the urinal and you're like wondering if you're going to be able to pee because there's people around you. You're not. But, you know, when you go in there, you don't even think about it. You just piss. But the best thing you can do is just relax and not worry about the problem, because worrying about it will make it worse. There's not a lot of like super great hacks for doing this, except to just try and relax as much as possible and try to not think about the problems and not worry about it, and to just treat it as like you could just kind of laugh it off. It's not a big deal. You just need to slow down, relax, and not be in a rush and thinking about this type of thing. And obviously you don't want to do things that will compound the problem by like drinking a lot of alcohol, because then you could have an actual physical problem, but alcohol can definitely exasperate it no matter where it is. So make sure that you don't drink a lot of alcohol and that you don't make a big deal of it. And that's really the best thing to do. And to also just become a little bit more confident in your sexuality, right? If you are a little bit more exposed to the idea of sex and you're more comfortable talking about it, and you're more comfortable in those environments, then you're not going to have as much anxiety and much stress around it, right? But if you're really, really nervous, then that's going to be a problem. So you got to just build that level of comfort, talk about things ahead of time. Don't just like super rush into things and then get in that spot where you're like, oh shit, what's going on here? All right. Next one, the low testosterone one. Okay, so I used to be really against TRT. I did a video on it, but since then I've spoken with a lot of people, and I actually had a problem where my SHBG was super high. And I realized that TRT can be a good solution to keep your youth for a longer period of time and have a higher quality of life. Actually, Derek from More Plates, More Dates was actually the guy that convinced me. When I watched his video and he's like, look, you know, you're 40 to 50, the quality of your life, it could be shitty or it could be great like you're in your 20s, right? So make a choice here. Same thing here, I think, with the ED. Is like if you're suffering from it because of low testosterone, well, shit, right? So again, you know, this is hard for me to say being a Bulldog and advocating the Bulldog mindset, because I don't want you to take a fucking cop-out answer. In fact, what I would say is that if you have low testosterone, the first thing that you need to do is try to solve it on your own by doing things like improving your diet, improving your exercise, gaining some muscle if you can. I mean, obviously when you're low on testosterone, it's a little bit harder, but doing all of those things, taking the right supplements, boron can help with HBG, zinc, right? You can look up the things. In fact, my good buddy, Doc Testosterone, Farhan, he's got actually a product called Afro D, which has a lot of really good proven ingredients that can actually increase testosterone. So I'd try something like that first before going straight over to TRT, which is kind of expensive as well. But, you know, if you're in your late 30s or early 40s or so, I would not be embarrassed at all to just jump on the TRT wagon, because your life will just be better, right? And that can solve that problem. So that's it, right? I mean, that's like, if you've got low testosterone, you got to probably figure out something to do, because if you have low testosterone, you're going to have a problem. Or high SHBG. So your bioavailable testosterone is what's going to control that to a large degree. Now, if you're on SSRIs, okay, the best thing you can do is to work with your doctor to get off of them, okay? Again, I'm not a doctor, but you have to wean yourself off of these. You can't just cold turkey quit these things. I don't think virtually anyone should be on antidepressants. They don't even work, first of all. There's a lot of other ways to treat depression, and most of the time it's like way overdiagnosed, right? Because most people go through cycles, and they're just not prepared to go through cycles in life. I think we have so much fucking dopamine from our phones and from our Facebook and our stimulation and TV and all this shit that we think we should be on a fucking emotional high all the time, and that's bullshit. Sometimes you're depressed, and sometimes the reason why you're depressed is because you're addicted to all this shit and you're not getting all that stimulation, and it's like someone who's addicted to drugs and not getting drugs, and they feel like normal life is boring and shit, and they feel depressed. Okay, it's the same thing. Like, cut out your fucking phone, do a dopamine detox, try that out and see how that works. But, you know, you got to make a choice, right? Like, which do you want? Do you want to take these drugs that possibly don't even work, right? Most SSRIs do not seem to actually produce the result that people are hoping that they do, okay? And they take a long time to even take effect. Or, you know, do you want to be able to have sex, right? Make a choice. You know, to me, it's a pretty easy choice. And as a Bulldog, I'm a big fan of no drugs as much as possible, right? To avoid any kind of brain-enhancing chemicals. So SSRIs, you know, basically antidepressants, I would get off of them. I don't think that it's a good idea. I think it fucks you up. I think it puts you in a cycle of dependence, and it's not good. I mean, maybe there's some extreme cases where it's absolutely necessary, but it's way, way overdiagnosed, in my opinion. and I would stop it. But I would go to a doctor and make sure that you wean off of it, because there can be some bad effects if you don't do that. So then finally, the last one here, which is the other stuff, right? Minoxidil and stuff like that. So just cut that shit out, okay? If you suspect that it's causing a problem, then cut the shit out. And it may take a long time, right? From what I read and what I heard about minoxidil is it could take like 4, 5, 6 months, even after you stop taking it, for things to return to normal. So that kind of sucks. So I don't know, you got to kind of weigh the risk-reward ratio there, but make sure that, you know, if you feel like it's coming from other stuff, you can get glass containers. Like, don't microwave stuff in plastic. Don't drink out of plastic bottles, okay? I know that seems a little extreme, but hey, you know, test that out and see how that works. Avoid all the stuff that has soy in it. There's a lot of stuff that has soy in it, okay? You know, I think for most people it's okay to eat soy from time to time, but if you're having these problems, you know, cut all that shit out. Like, figure out, make the whole list of all the things that could possibly be impacting your testosterone negatively, right? Filter your water, right? Spend a month in like a total containment cleanse where you're not doing any of that shit, and see what happens. That's what I would recommend. And then, you know, if all this stuff doesn't work, then go to the doctor, obviously, and figure it out, right? Just popping a pill is not necessarily going to be a solution for a lot of guys, especially if you're suffering from low libido, from low testosterone. Even taking Vag or something like that, it's not going to matter, right? You have to actually have the libido to actually do it, right? That will help you in the sense that it will increase the blood flow, but it's not going to help you in the sense of having the motivation and the libido to do it. So anyway, guys, hopefully this is helpful. Again, you know, this is not the most exciting topic to talk about, but I wanted to help you because I've gotten a lot of emails, a lot of questions from a lot of you guys about this. This happens. This happens to everyone. It's not something that's like a huge deal, but you got to figure it out. You got to get in control of this, and you can, right? You know, that's the thing is, like, at least today we have a lot of solutions for this problem, and you know, just go through the list. If you want to watch the video again and kind of check things off and try to figure out where it is, go for it, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.